So another week, another race. Seems like I've been racing quite often lately. This one, same place as last time. Daytona Dirt Riders put on a sprint enduro this time instead of a hare scramble. The course was made up of 3 tests, and since I'm C-class, I only had to do those tests twice. So I had 6 total tests. A and B had 9 tests, and it was just shy of 25 miles for each 3 tests. So total for me was just under 50 miles. A/B riders, they did just under 75 miles. And as you're watching this video, a lot of new trail from the hare scramble, unless they play some magic and I just didn't realize it. I mean, there were definitely some sections we used again, but a lot of new trail. Course was marked really well. Despite that, I made a couple of mistakes, and actually one of the mistakes cost me almost a minute because I mean, it says wrong way right in front of my face, and I somehow missed it. Here comes a fast guy by me. That was probably the biggest difference in doing one of these sprint enduros as opposed to hare scramble. Hare scrambles I race in the morning, so it's the older crowd, and even though we have, A/B riders and fast guys there, here we got all the quick guys with us. And sometimes I got past, kind of like just happened in the video. Man, it felt like I was standing still. But it was pretty awesome to watch those guys go by. Wound up taking second place in this. I felt pretty good. To be honest, I never really got into a flow state, and I don't know why, but it was a beautiful day, great weather, great course. But I guess I'm not too disappointed with the second place. Was hoping to win, but can't win them all. And just because I won my last sprint enduro, it was only my first one. This is only my second enduro ever. And again, it's a sprint format, so I still have not yet done a full enduro. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm going to let this roll a little bit. This first test was a lot of fun. Had some good amount of hills in there. And I'll comment if anything happens. But yeah, just check this footage out, and I'll check back in a minute or two. So right here is one of my favorite sections of the course. Even with the hare scramble, you get that nice little lake to the left, and we're going through some woods. But coming up to some of these hills, right? These hills weren't really challenging, except for the fact that some of them is some pretty deep sand, and obviously, if you know sand, you got to keep your momentum up. If not, it gets twice as hard. If you've never ridden in some deep sand, come down to Florida and ride some sugar sand. I promise you, it's pretty hard. Especially when you get a bunch of sugar sand whoops. Those have to be the worst. I really just hate them. Luckily, there wasn't many sand whoops in here. A couple. I'll put that clip in later on. It was also my hare scramble video as well. But I wanted to check in because at this point right here, the guy right in front of me, you'll see a guy's going to pull over and actually let both of us by. I'm sorry if you're watching this. I know his last name is Smith, and I could probably go back and try and find him. But I don't even know what class he was in, so it'd be kind of difficult. Anyway, I slowly reel him in, and he lets me by, and he tagged along. And we had a pretty good pace for the rest of this first test. It was fun. Because at one point in the video, I even tried to let him back by because he was on my butt. But he said, no, man, go. You have good pace. So this was actually probably one of the most fun parts of the whole day. So check it out. You'll see how.
Loosen up. No warm up, so I'm so tight.
Just saying no warm up, so I was getting a little arm pump. I think I was pushing a little too hard right off the bat. Should have paced myself a little bit. But yeah, you can watch. I'll reel him in slowly, get by him, and then we put on a pretty good pace.
Biggest obstacle so far are these hidden roofs. Oh, I love this tight shit. Oh, tight. Fast guy coming, I hear him. Good! Oh yeah. Oh! So this is all new trail from the hare scramble, which is awesome. I was scared it was going to be all the same shit we just did. Thank you.
All right, so coming up right after this little wood section, we'll get into those sandy hills, and you'll see what I'm talking about, deep sand. Like, so you can see a little deeper than the other hills when I was last checking in. Yeah, so this stuff, you don't keep your momentum up.
Oh, we use this backwards.
Yeah, we were going the other way for the hare scramble. But this section, it's kind of, some of them were off camber, and yeah, if you're slowing down, you're starting to, I was anyway, starting to paddle like a second time through. This wasn't so bad. But some of the deep stuff, yeah, I was struggling, like right there. Didn't commit and blew out of the little rut, which I felt like I was doing that a lot this race. I didn't have the confidence in my front wheel. If you have watched my comparison of the woods battle between this bike and my 4-stroke, well, since it was dry and sandy, today, because the hare scramble, the course had a little more water in it, so it wasn't as slick as today. Yeah, I guess I was lacking a little confidence in my front tire. I had a couple slides with the front end that kind of killed the confidence for me.
Damn, I'll tell you, they were keeping us busy. Oh, these fucking sandy hills. It's a lot sandier than the hare scramble was too. Dried out a bit. This stuff is great. I think we're halfway done with this test. Should be 6 miles. What the fuck? What the fuck? Thank you. Good? Good. Woo!
That was perfect. It was a perfect pace for me to try to follow.
All right, man. Good to know.
I picked up about 10% trying to keep up with them.
All right, so this is the second time around, and this will be the last clip I put in. So just some, I guess, the highlights from this race. Obviously taking second place, got a podium. That's awesome. But we also had a special guest that was actually in my row, but since it was a sprint format, I never officially lined up with him. But if you guys know David Knight was actually supposed to be right next to me in my line. If you don't know him, go look him up. He's a 5-time world Enduro champion. He's a motorcycle legend. So I got to see him around the pits. I didn't go up to him and bother him. You know, that's just not me. If we were on the line, I would have talked to him. But anyway, the second time around, my problem was my left hand started to cramp. So you'll see this guy in front of me, I kind of get held up behind him a little bit. Once I get around him, I start stretching my hand because my left hand started cramping and clutching the bar so tight I could barely open my fist. And this was the first test of the second lap. Never had this happen to me. The only time something like this has ever happened to me actually was riding a quad for a long time on my right hand. Not being used to the thumb throttle, my thumb would be like locking up and cramping up. But so my left pinky and ring finger were clamping on the bars, and then my bicep and forearm were getting cramps on my left arm as well. So I was able to work it out as I'm riding throughout the next 3 tests. I was actually scared to take a break, so I did all 3 second tests straight through. I didn't take any kind of break because I didn't want it to cramp up and not be able to ride. I was drinking plenty of fluids, or so I thought. Maybe not. I'm complaining it took too long. I get it though. It was super tight. The guy had nowhere to go. But pay attention to my left hand. You'll see it. I'm stretching it out, and it's clamping back on the bar. Usually I have my index finger out, but it's at this point I'm getting nervous because I'm like, oh man, my left hand is not working when I'm telling it to like open and close. See, I like almost hit this tree. So that was a little nerve-wracking. But anyway, guys, if you stuck around this long, I appreciate it. Consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like, comment. I always answer comments pretty quickly. But anyway, hopefully my next video is going to be about, I take that back. I was going to try and do some motocross stuff, but no. I have a hair scramble in 2 weeks. That's probably the next time I'm going to get to ride my bikes. So look out for that video. After that, I promise I'll get some comparison videos of the 250XC versus the YZ250F on a motocross track. Anyway, thanks guys. Bye-bye.